Hey man, how's it going? I've got some armchair philosophy I'm trying to wrap my head around. Perhaps you can help me out. I'm interested in the intersection between science and philosophy in everyday life. And lately I've been pondering about the nature of sound and whether or not it exists or if it's all just an elaborate illusion. You may have heard the old adage, if a tree falls in the woods and there's no one to hear it, does it make a sound? Well, I propose that it doesn't, and what we perceive as sound is a necessary illusion to interpret the complex interactions of energy and the matter that surrounds us. So if you're interested in that kind of mumbo-jumbo, come with me while we explore the existence and nature of sound by looking at the physical properties of this energy and how our brain chooses to interpret it. Because sounds kind of weird when you think about it. It's the ability to detect vibrations of matter as energy travels through it. For instance, like the booming sound of thunder really just air vibrating due to rapid heating and cooling, yet we interpret it as an explosive roar. And this warns us of inclement weather and is a powerful indicator we should probably get our asses inside and seek some shelter. When a force is applied to matter, the result is a pressure wave which arrives at our auditory canal, ready to be decoded by our brains. We interpret this wave of particles as sound, and it's that transition between like the sound wave to brain wave that I'm really interested in, rather than the mechanical process of the movement of particles. And I've got to admit, I've got a bit of an overactive internal monologue. I mean, the dude never shuts up. When we think, we're not internally producing sound waves, so does that make it an illusion? Think about it. We can recreate the nuances of any sound our imagination can dream of. We can compose complex music in our brains and translate that into a physical force for others to hear. Well, you gotta practice first, yeah?
Second measure, second beat. You see?
It's just G sharp.
Of course.
So why am I talking about this, you might be asking? Well, our whole perspective is based on the information we receive, conveyed to us by our senses. When you hear a song from your past, it's not just a sound wave, but a flood of memories and emotions that shape your perception of that banging tune you love listening to. We use this information to form an understanding of our reality, but we're like a complex species and we're constantly bombarded with sensory information, and it's easy to get caught up in the social structures we find ourselves in. And by understanding the nature of our information gathering tools, it can help us filter out the sensory noise and identify what really matters and what's a load of bollocks. The point of sound is to propagate life, don't forget that. Anything that contradicts this principle is a waste of bloody time. We can often be too entwined with our egos and lose sight of the fundamentals of existence. A warped view of reality can lead to faulty logic and therefore poor decision making. It's one of the reasons we live in a factionalized society. Old man ranting, coming, wait for it. This societal conflict is a mistake because when our core needs are met, it's kind of irrelevant what another person's doing. As long as your community is surviving and thriving, life's good, innit? My goal is to generate these kind of discussions on the nature of reality to enable people to focus on what's important in their lives, because quite frankly, the social structures we find ourselves engaging in are bullshit.
I hate manure.
So, today I want to focus on the way that you think about sound, as you may likely take this superpower for granted. It's not just a physical force, but an interpretation of your physical environment manifested by your brain. Consider how you might respond to a child crying in a restaurant. Your emotional response may differ depending on whether or not you're a parent. You didn't have kids. I can see how this would be a source of irritation. But I can confirm that nowadays, if I ever hear a child crying, my spidey senses start tingling. And I've got that urge to spring into dad mode. Conversely, someone without children might simply hear that crying as background noise and not have the instinctual call to action. This is a conditioned response that I've learned as a parent. I never used to be like that, I can guarantee you, mate. But my subjective reality has changed because I've been exposed to different information. Baby cry must protect is now a drive imprinted in my brain. Let's start by exploring how we use sound purposefully. It's like an evolutionary adaptation that allows for communication and navigation. Think about how a bat uses sonar to navigate in the dark. It builds this mental image of its environment so it don't face plant straight into the nearest tree. Or what about how a bird chirps to attract a mate? Wolf whistling his way into her knickers. Sound is a tool we use to form our subjective reality that enables perception as we interact with our environment. It can convey emotion. It can motivate a crowd. And it can pass on knowledge from one subjective reality to another.
So don't ever judge somebody for what they are, but who they are.
And if it's got a beat to it, it's got the power to move us. The energy of sound is a dynamic yet overlooked aspect of the universal work. Because life doesn't exist in a vacuum, and neither does sound. Our biosphere is like awash with particles reacting and interacting with each other. This is the sound of the universe in motion. And as humans, we've evolved the ability to identify and harness this energy as a tool for collective survival. We can transmit and receive oscillations of these particles in motion to like such a degree we can pinpoint fairly accurately the direction and distance of a threat or a resource around us.
There's something in those trees.
We interpret these particle waveforms as sound, and then we associate meanings as either something good or bad. Think about the jingle of an ice cream van. It can stimulate joy if it's like a hot summer's day, or a bark of a dog can scare the shit out of you. Fuck! We emit sound to communicate this information to others, and fundamentally it enhances the survivability of the collective. Our function, the very reason for our existence, is to spread life. I mean, surely, yeah? Because as far as I can see, we are the only sign of it this side of the cosmos. Sound facilitates the sharing of ideas and is a direct emotional trigger for our human consciousness. You can see this by how music can move us and how carefully crafted words can inspire us to take action.
Come with me if you want to live.
Sound is energy and it produces work. This is not just a mere information exchange. It can like foster a deeper understanding and empathy, contributing to social cohesion.
Could we please stop this?
So we should stop competing and wake up to the fact that we're like the caretakers as the dominant life form. We can still swing this train wreck back on the right track. The key to achieving this lies in effective communication, for which sound serves as a fundamental organiser. Now bear in mind, this is just my subjective experience, yeah? I'm no expert. These are just my interpretations that I've arrived at by going about my days as a curious human in a digital age. We live in a perpetual state of sensory overload where the noise of society demands your attention and calls you to take action. It's up to you how you choose to use this information. Sound has the capacity to destroy as well as create. This is because of the way we assign meaning to it. We mull over concepts using critical thinking and our accumulated knowledge. We chat constantly to ourselves as our thoughts search for a satisfactory conclusion. But this is just an illusion created by a neural image of sound and the meaning we associate to it. That's not to say it's the only way our brain creates thought, it just seems like the most efficient. When these senses are absent, our minds work with what it has to adapt, because the goal is survival, remember? We've got the ability to retain an exact neural image of a waveform of particles. It's like capturing a photograph with a camera. Our brain kicks an image of the sound patterns to process and interpret, and then we use that neural image to mimic that waveform. Thus giving rise to thought. But don't get me wrong, this is still a tricky leap. It's not like we can accurately measure this, yet I can recall in exact detail the subtle nuances of another person's voice, and with a bit of practice, maybe knock off a not too bad impression. Right now, as you listen to my voice, I'm producing a waveform that is being picked up by my microphone. This converts the sound energy to electrical energy. The fluctuations of this electrical field is now being broadcast to your brain, allowing you to assign meaning. This is possible via a transducer made of a piezoelectrical crystal. This analog to digital conversion is a replicable process which works both ways and allows for your speakers to vibrate the air in an exact way to recreate the sound wave of my voice. Our brains work in a similar way, yeah? Our bodies have the ability to store an electrical image of these particles in motion, and that's when the magic happens. And we're able to recreate these waves into anything we wish, much like how AI uses noise to create an image, guessing the correct pixels and filling in the blanks. Yet we live in the noise, and we breathe it in. And we're even generating it. Oh my god, are we AI? As humans, we observe the changes in the waveform and then react appropriately. The synchronization of humans is most effectively achieved by sound. It allows us to act in unison towards a common goal. We can visualize the synchronicity of the waveform when observing how frequency and amplitude manipulate matter on a sound plate, organizing itself into intricate structures. This echoes Tesla's words: to discover the universe's secrets, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And this gives me pause for thought about the universe at work. Or, like the music of the spheres. When you look at the stars and the constellations and how they're formed from galaxies and solar systems, you see a shift from the chaos to organisation through entropy, manipulated by energy, frequency and vibration. There's plenty of research underway to unravel the secrets of frequency and vibration. Azir Mazo, I'm sorry mate, I'm butchering it, is taking 3D printing to the next level with a prototype called LeviPrint, which utilises acoustic levitation to manipulate and build structures in midair. I also watched this video on Action Labs where they used sound to extinguish a fire. The push and pull of the air was enough to extinguish the flames.
Now we can easily put out the fire.
Still early days, but imagine scaling this technology up and mounting it on the drone. We've got the ultimate search and rescue device. I'll leave some links for you down below so you can check it out. Do you think sound exists, or is it just an illusion formed by our brains to identify the movement of particles? I'm not sure. All I know is that the mechanical function of the wave exists, and that our brain interprets that wave. We can create the illusion of sound when we think, and our thoughts are possibly the byproduct of this evolutionary ability. So what do you reckon? Got any opinions? Let me know, innit? Like, comment, subscribe if you want to talk some more. Peace!